Hello and welcome to the first episode of Weekend Winners of 2024. A happy new year to all of you. Of course, this show always in association with BetVictor. Now, lots of things have changed for this week's show, but one thing that has not changed is the lineup, because I'm being joined as ever by Declan and Sam Boswell. Sam, the weather has played havoc with us yet again.
Yeah, new year, same problems, but we've still got a great show, loads to get stuck into. And yeah, if anyone that was following our show that we had around the Ascot card just before Christmas did pretty well, because I think between the three of us, we all found a decent prize winner.
Yeah, we did. We did have a good festive period, Dex. So hopefully we will be able to take this forward now, because the form that we were in prior to that, I mean, we were pretty pleased with that.
Yeah, no, we finished the year well. I think Sam had the winner there, the Grade 1 at Ascot. You had the runaway winner of the Welsh National, and then Nasam and Lucia and Victorino did the job for me. Yeah, so let's hopefully we can start the year as we left the last one.
Yeah, hopefully so. But of course, we do have the issue, though, where just prior to recording, we lost Sandown. We were half expecting that to be the case. So this is going to be a very different show then for us. We're going to try and give you our best bets ahead of the weekend from the action that we have left. But of course, we are going to be looking ahead to the Cheltenham Festival. Ante-Post plays at this stage, and just having some discussions, festive reflections, of course, as well. But as ever, we do always preach to please do gamble responsibly. Our tips are not guaranteed to win, but we will still do our best to put you in the right direction all the same. Right, Sam, festive period. Dex just started to touch upon it there. You had your really nice winner. But if I had to say to you one horse you would take away from the Christmas period, what would it be?
I can't help but be blown away by what Hucks achieved in that King George. And I think with what happened with Shishkin, I don't think he quite got the credit that he deserves, because we can debate the merits of Shishkin. If he stood up, would he have won? Maybe we'll do that. But I just think that the way he stayed on in that race, I mean, we spoke to BetVictor ambassador Gavin Sheehan. It was a massive win for him. And he was saying, you know, I would have potentially pulled the horse up at one stage when he was sort of going, but he was like, you know, it's a King George, and I was told to try and just see where we got to. And, you know, coming over that last, stayed on like a train. And I thought it was the most breathtaking finish to a race. For all it was a small field, and we sort of, I mean, I think I was guilty of writing off Hucks' chances, and certainly can't now. And obviously interesting to hear connections potentially got the option of the English National or the Gold Cup. For my money, I'd like to see him go for a Gold Cup. I wouldn't be as excited about seeing him in a national, but fair play to them. They know what they're doing and clearly took home a big pot.
Yeah, they definitely did. Yet another big pot then for Hucks as well. I don't know if anyone noticed, but he only cost 850 quid. No, 850 euros, 800 quid then, wasn't it? Conversion rate there, Deck.
Next minute, you're going to tell me Luke Littler's only 60.
It's a given, isn't it? Right, who would have won the King George?
I think Shishkin would have just held on myself, you know, given we've been banging on about Shishkin staying kind of the Gold Cup trip for a good while on this show, and he just looked like he was on a real going day. He was unbeaten at Kempton going into the race. I think the finishing speed percentage of the King George suggested that they didn't go overly quick. You know, he's by Shalikoff, who's bred Don Cossack. He's from the family of Ola Lavedette. I think he would have stayed. Look, you never know, but I think he would have just clung on. But I suppose the kind of main takeaways from that race for me were kind of maybe both Allaho and Braveman's game, probably not the horses that they were now. So maybe kind of opens up the Ryanair races a little bit more, and it makes Galopin de Champ's job a little bit easier in the Gold Cup as well.
Yeah, I mean, he was mightily impressive, though, wasn't he, Galopin de Champ at Leopardstown, and the way that he just destroyed that field. I mean, I think it's fair to say that Galopin de Champ has put himself firmly back into the picture to win back-to-back Gold Cups.
Yeah, absolutely. He wasn't my Christmas highlight, though. My Christmas highlight was the now dubbed Machine National instead of Marine. I was blown away by him in his beginner chase at Leopardstown over Christmas. I thought he was very good. Now unbeaten in 6 starts, a Royal Bond winner, Supreme Novice Hurdle winner. You knew if he took to fences, you know, he'd go close to an Arkle this year. And I thought he was very good. I thought he showed everything you'd want in a novice chaser. He was brave, he showed scope, but he was also intelligent. He could have quick feet and pop away as well. I was a little bit worried going into the race, pre-race. He had a first-time tongue tie on. I was like, oh, please don't tell me we're going to lose a really good horse to wind issues now. But no bother to him at all, and he hit the line very well. So yeah, excited by Machine National.
Quick question on him, Deck, if I could jump in.
Yeah.
Do you think now he's ticked another box because of the ground he ran on as well?
Well, you've literally just taken my other point. I think the big issue with him is, not the big issue, but the exciting thing with him is we haven't seen him on a nice racing surface since he won his maiden hurdle. Like, he's by French Navy, obviously predominantly flatbread. Like, this guy's going to be even better on nicer ground. He's going to do everything easier. He's probably going to jump better. He's going to travel better. And he's got that potent turn of foot as well.
The horse, you've both actually mentioned him. Thank you very much for blowing that trumpet for me, was, of course, Nasam. Now, I want to go back to the Gold Cup picture because we talked about Galopin Des Champs, potentially Hucks if the ground's OK for him, if he goes to Cheltenham rather than Aintree then for the Grand National as his main aim. Shishkin, he's put himself firmly into the picture. Nasam, though. Now, you've said yourself, Dec, he was a runaway winner at Chepstow, and he went for home quite soon out. And we know that winning margins can be exaggerated at Chepstow. But when you look about, I think Steve Jones flagged it up on Twitter, didn't he, about the winning weight that he carried has been seen to good effect by subsequent Gold Cup winners in the past. So he's put himself into that bracket with that performance.
Yeah, it was a freakish performance, to be honest. I actually haven't gone back and seen what the BHA handicapper gave him, but, you know, they probably put a big figure on it. I thought he probably won too far, if I'm being very honest. You know, I don't want to be too critical of Quayle Quinn because, you know, sometimes when you do put the brakes on horses in that ground, they can pull up very quickly. And the worst thing would have happened is if he got chinned on the line late as opposed to doing what he did. I just hope it doesn't kind of put him between a rock and a hard place now, because he's going to get such a big hike for that. He's probably going to have to go into graded company. And the other thing with him is, like, he looks a machine on that kind of really near kind of bottomless kind of ground, doesn't he? So whether he's going to get that again as the season goes on, I don't know. But he's still a very young horse, and let's hope it's a case of you know, that he just looks at a very much improved horse, and he could be a national horse for the Moore team, who had an absolutely outstanding Christmas period. So I thought I'd done well with all the Turkey and the Guinness, but I think the Moors did even better, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly. Well, who's the real winner there? Turkey or Guinness, or the Moors with their Grade 2 success with the juvenile, Welsh national success? 161 he's been given now, so he is bang up there.
There you go.
Yeah, and just to quote Steve Jones's tweet here, he said, the last 5 horses before Nasam to win the Welsh Grand National carrying 11 stone 6 or more: Elegant Escape, Native River, Synchronise, Master Oats, Carville's Hill, 3 Gold Cup winners and 1 that was more than good enough to win a Gold Cup. So, Sam, that's good enough for me.
Yeah, look, it's really exciting, isn't it, Kate? And, you know, I suppose the good thing about this sport is we can have questions, but we should, touch wood, if he stays sound, get the answer in the spring, which is going to be really exciting. I do think Dex touched on the issue that I'd have, which is the ground. You know, yeah, you'd be unlikely to get anything like those conditions in the spring for any of the big festivals, which is a bit of a shame. I don't know. I'd be curious to see what they do next. It's a nice problem to have, isn't it, if you're involved in that horse?
Certainly so, but like you've both said there, that ground does seem to be pretty crucial to him. But we had loads then over the festive period, and we've just got to really sort of scratch the surface there about a few of our festive highlights. But do let us know your own festive highlights in the comments section below. And as you're in the comments section, also do remember to subscribe to the At The Races YouTube channel, and also hit the bell notification so you never miss an episode. Right, we're going to look forward to the more immediate future now. What racing we have got left at this stage for this weekend. Hopefully we're going to get something anyway. Right, Sam, where were you looking?
I've had a real scattergun quick look at what we've got elsewhere and actually checked my tracker, and there's a horse called Handstands for Ben Pauling. He's sending him up to Newcastle to carry a penalty in a novice hurdle, and I'll be honest, looking at the frame of the race, I think Ben's found a really good opportunity for him to add to his wins. He won at Hereford in an OK race. I don't think it was necessarily the strongest maiden you'll ever see, but his point-to-point win came on really attritional conditions, so I'd like to think he'll handle the ease in the ground that he's going to experience at Newcastle compared to Hereford. He's an interesting horse. I think he might make up into a nice horse. Don't necessarily think he'll be top class, but, you know, it'd be interesting to see what Ben does with him. Had a very, very quick look at the Nace card on Sunday, because we sponsor a really interesting novice chase where Mr. Policeman is likely, I think, to be favourite if he's declared for it. That's an intriguing little card. I'll touch on Firefox a little bit later on. Might just tease our Cheltenham Antepost preview. But yeah, I just thought, listen, it's a tricky weekend. I'll keep an eye on Harry Derham's runners as well. He's operating at just over a 50% strike rate, which seems unreal. Had a brilliant day, didn't he, up in Scotland the other day on New Year's Day. So curious to see how his yard goes on and whether he can continue to keep up this brilliant run of form.
Yeah, he has got a really intriguing runner at Wincanton as well, hasn't he? So we're going to be interested to see if that horse is back later on. But some good plays then for you over the weekend. Of course, we're expecting soft conditions pretty much everywhere this weekend, and Newcastle likely won't escape that either. Now, my own bet then for this weekend, I have gone to Wincanton. So again, fingers crossed on the weather front for Wincanton. But it's the 130. It's a 0 to 125 handicap chase of 5 rods and over a mile, 7.5 furlongs. So speedsters to the fore around a speedy flat track anyway. Lots of horses we know plenty about. There's plenty enough pace on in this race as well. But the one who I'm hoping will be ridden prominently and will finally have his comeback day is Fast Buck in here. A horse that's done the stable merry-go-round in his career. He's quite a character of a horse. He can certainly take offence with him as well. So that's not really something you like to see around Wincanton. But apart from that, I think the track will really play to his strengths here. Now, he is well enough handicapped. He's running off a mark of 1.22. That still leaves him £3 below his last winning mark in 2022, admittedly. That was two miles, heavy ground, and he won by 10 lengths on that occasion. So conditions hopefully suit him again well at Wincanton. And if he just consents to being on a going day, hopefully he's worked his way down the handicap well enough that he might just be ready to strike again. So he was the one, ran the trends, picked the most then for that race. I haven't had too many trend races to go at this
Did you get a new
trends
trends box for Christmas?
I should have done with a nice little tinsel bow on top. Exactly. If anyone had me Secret Santa, they know exactly what they should have got me. Right, they are our bets then for this weekend. Again, do let us know in the comments section below your own bets for this weekend as we head over to the Sky Pad to give you our Cheltenham Antepost plays at this stage. Now that we're into 2024, it only feels right that we start building our Cheltenham Antepost portfolios. Yep, that buzz term that you all know and love. But Sam, the traders have got a very exciting new feature for us.
Yeah, set them a bit of a challenge over Christmas, and this is what they've come up with. Each week, we're going to pick a different Cheltenham selection, the three of us, and most weeks, all three of ours will be boosted, which is pretty exciting. There'll be decent prices, and if you don't know where to find them, it's really easy. You can either use the QR code that appears on screen during the show, or if you're watching this on YouTube, just use the link in the bio, or if you're watching this on social, just use the click-through link, and you'll be able to find them there. They're only going to be for weekend winners viewers, so that's the whole perk of enjoying our time with us.
Well, as well as hopefully finding some winners, but also the extra features to boot then. So no doubt viewers will be utilising that. Deck, where are we looking first?
Yes, I'm going to go to the cross-country chase. I can't even believe it, but that's
neither
where
can
I'm
any of
going.
us.
And I'm going to go with Conflated. It really does sound like he's going to go down this route. Gordon Elliott was mooting it after he ran in the Grade 1 at Down Royal. And not only did he moot it, but Gordon said this guy is one of the best ever horses they've had to go over the banks, which I thought was really interesting. It's really interesting because Gordon has won 5 of the last 7 renewals of the cross-country chase, 6 of the last 7 if you want to include Denise Foster's win that season as well. And now, as of yet, he hasn't run over the banks, but that's which generally would worry me. But Gordon did win this with Delta Work the first season he went over banks, and a little mole tells me that every now and again Gordon and his team are back and forth to Cheltenham to go over that team. They'll be well prepped. He's a 2-time Grade 1 winner, and we've seen this season he's still operating to a very good level. You know, and get 9-2 at the boost, I don't think it would be a massive surprise if he went off sub 5-2. Would love some good ground for him because I think he's got a real touch of class. The trip is a small bit of a worry, but it's not going to be run at the same kind of tempo as a Gold Cup. Like some good ground for him. I'm more than happy to take the BetVictor traders 9-2, and I think the viewers should too.
Yeah, well, there is the QR code on the screen there for you. As you can see, that bet boost 7-2 to 9-2 for Conflated ahead of the cross-country chase. And if Deck is correct and that price shortens then prior to the off, then, well, that's going to look every bit more value as well. So we don't mind that one. It's gone a bit rogue cross-country for our first Ante-Post play, but wouldn't expect anything less from Deck anyway. But Sam, where were you looking?
Yeah, I was $1 million to do the cross-country with me, so yeah, I'd have done my money having a good guess up at that. Well, I think Deck's hit on a bit of a theme because I'm going to pick a Gordon Elliott trained horse as well. This one runs over the weekend, so if you want to get on the boost, you're going to need to get involved fairly early because he runs in the Lawlers, and it's Firefox, who I think is an absolutely fantastic horse. Really encourageable start to the season, obviously. First start over hurdles, well, the form book will tell you that if you were impressed by any horse over Christmas, surely you were most impressed by Ballyburn in the novice hurdle division. Absolutely scooted up at Leopardstown. Well, on Hurdle's debut, Firefox beat him, and I think beat him fair and square as well. I don't think there was any fluke about it or anything like that. Gordon's going to run him here in a race that he's done really well in over the years. He's won it with the likes of Def Duty, sadly ill-fated Ginto as well as some others. Battle Over Doyen comes to mind, and a lot of them have gone on to run at the festival and had mixed fortunes, but I'm pretty convinced this horse will stay at the 2.5 mile division. I think the Ballymore looks tailor-made for him. This is his first time up in trips. So I think he's going to enhance his reputation even further. Win again over hurdles, make it 5 wins in a row, I think, something like that. And I'm delighted to say that, unfortunately, whilst we're not getting a boost on mine because there was a technical error when the traders are setting this up, we are paying 4 places on the race. So if you want an actual each-way thievery, 6 to 1, to my money, when he wins come the weekend, he's going to be the favourite for this race. 6 to 1 at the moment, but we are paying 4 places. I have been reliably informed that mine will be boosted. It is just a 1 week thing. It's not the traders having a bit of fun at my expense.
No, not this time at least anyway, but way to break down the 4-4 there of BetVictor Towers. But atr.com/weekend winners is the website if the QR code is not your mode of getting that those boosts there. But as you can see, 6 to 1 then Firefox. Now, you've been brave with this one because, of course, this is basically a double prong attack because, of course, we have the Lawless of Naas on Sunday. We record on a Friday morning now. And if he goes and wins that, then he could well shorten up come the Ballymore. If he goes and gets beaten by the likes of L'Atlantique, what are you really going to be doing here? Because can that form be reversed from the bumper sphere, L'Atlantique, then with your horse Firefox?
Yeah, potentially, Kate, but I think you're wrong. I don't think it will be reversed. For my money, I think this horse will just excel as he goes. That up in trip, I think, will suit him. I actually even looked at the Albert Bartlett, where he's a 20 to 1 price, but I think it'd be too much of an extreme jump this season. I think he's got enough turn of foot as well, having shown that in the bumper sphere. I think, personally, that the form will be confirmed. And I think Willie Mullins, I don't know, will he run him in the race even? Be interesting to see.
Yeah, that's going to be something that we're very interested to see. Is he going to go here? Is he going to go the Moscow Flyer route, then cutting back in trip? But, of course, we'll find out plenty more when we have declarations prior to Sunday. Now, I have to admit here, I've done a full 180 on my own selection because I wanted to go to the Mares Novices Hurdle, believe it or not. So I'm giving Deck grief for the cross country. The Mares Novices Hurdle, I was trying to form my case for Queen's Gamble, who was my Ante-Post play at the start of the season for the Mares Novices Hurdle. But I started to go into the race, making the case for her, thinking that she did well to win her listed race at Taunton the other day, and she was a feasible price to go with that. But went into the race conditions of the Mares Novices Hurdle, and of course she would now have to carry a £5 penalty for that. Whereas the favourite, Dysart Enos, she's 2 from 2 over hurdles. She's won a Class 4 hurdle and a Class 3 hurdle, which means she escaped any sort of penalty here. And I think that Fergal O'Brien has just had a genius bit of placing as a result of that, to try and avoid any penalties. He wants to try and get another run into her, ideally in February, he says, but not with much weight. So she's going to be double penalised if she goes to a normal novice hurdle. But if she takes on the boys, that will at least take off some of that weight that she's going to have to carry from the double penalty. So we always talk about this with Ante-Post races. It is still key to look into the race conditions and exactly who is going to be penalised for them. So Dysart Enos for me is one I am not willing to look away from. Still at the head of the market, but if she goes and wins under a double penalty in another novice hurdle prior to the Mares Novices Hurdle, I think that 9 to 2 could look very big. Bet boosted, of course, by the BetVictor traders. 7 to 2. 9 to 2. Again, do remember to scan the QR code there on your screen to take advantage of that bet boost. Right, that is everything from us on this week's show. So a big thank you to Deck and to Sam for all of their hard work and lots of last-minute changes as well, lads. So we're very, very grateful to that. Big thank you to you at home, of course, for watching. Fingers crossed that the weather at least plays ball from what we now have for the weekend. Enjoy the action this weekend. We'll be back at the same time next week to preview Kempton and Warwick.